We should be live. Happy Monday, everybody. We'll give it a quick minute to connect with the different social media channels. Let's take a look. If you could see me, do me a favor and say hi. That way we know which channels have already connected. Oh, boom. I see me on Facebook. Hey, happy Monday. Hope everyone had an amazing weekend and you are back at it on a Monday. So here we're gonna basically we keep this channel open Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, for 5 o'clock Pacific Standard Time, typically for about a half hour. Depends on how many people come on. Sometimes it can go a little bit longer, but we basically just, hey, this is a space you can ask any business question that you got, whether you're in business or maybe you're thinking about getting in the business, or you just have a question. So this is a great spot to come in and ask. If you don't have a business, stop by, just say hi anyways. Love to see you. Love to say hi. And if you're a business owner, not only are we going to answer your question, but we'd love to be able to shout out your business as well. I'm sure you have a product or a service that is a benefit to a lot of people out there. So more and more people need to know about your product or service. As a matter of fact, we're looking for a few products and services right now that we put a post on because uh, we're looking. So this is a great spot to be able to get your product or your service mentioned. Okay, let's take a look. Looks like we are almost live on all 5 of them. So if you see the video, do me a favor and just post it. You can see it. Post, just say hi. Let's take a look. Boom, looking good. Okay, so I'm going to share a couple stories from Saturday while we wait for people to come on. So on Saturday, Carrie and I, my wife and I, had an opportunity to go to Orange County and watch one of our grandsons play in his last basketball game of the season. So he's 4.5. Played, he's playing basketball. It's super cute, super cute. They have like a extra or extended um, rim that's shorter, but it's still like for a lot of the kids, they can't even throw the ball up that high. So that was kind of cute. They're all trying to make baskets and they don't have the strength yet to be able to get it that high. But man, there was a couple kids that just, man, like nothing. They were like probably making 70, 80%, the higher percentage than a lot of the pros. They were monsters. It was crazy. It was fun to watch them. But man, it was super excited watching the grandbaby just run around and have a good time. And I think he had about 5 or 6 shots. He didn't make any of them, but one of them was close. It kind of went in and it rimmed around and went out. So we were super excited, super happy. But I wanted to kind of share a couple things on that. So, it's interesting. So I'm in this gymnasium and they run basketball organization and there's a lot of basketball teams. And at the end they got medals. I was just thinking to myself, there's thousands of thousands, tens of thousands of of groups like this, whether it's basketball, baseball, softball, football, tennis, doesn't really matter, but they all have one thing in common. They all are trying to not only provide value for the kids, but they're also trying to, raise funds and be able to like have more funding for what they do. So I was talking to, one of the owners there. We were talking about, ask him if, you got a merch store. So, listen, if you're involved, I'm going to kind of throw this plug. So if you're involved in sports, if you're like coaching on the side, and we even, it doesn't even matter what age, or you have a organization, you need to have a merch store. I'm not talking about old school where it would cost you money to sell stuff. Back in the day, you have to buy, 100 shirts, 100 hats, 100 sweatshirts, so it would take you like X amount that you would have to sell before you even became profitable. And a lot of times they would get ruined just by handling them or the weather or whatever the case is. That's old school. Nowadays you can have your own merch store where it adds to your brand. People could go buy. There are no minimums. You could have like hundreds of products on there. Not only all of that, but you also can make money every single time somebody orders. So not only when they're ordering during season, but all off season as well. So it's a great way to expand your brand and it's a great way to earn additional revenue. So if you're in sports or somebody who's involved in sports and they need to earn additional funds, man, connect me, send them my way, or have them go to, sportsmerchstore.com, sports sportsmerchstores.com. They could kind of check out, but man, it's a great way for these organizations to be able to raise a lot more funds. So, anyways, that's what I got. Hey Tim, man, happy Monday, dude. How you been? How man, good to see you. Like, good to see you on here. I know it's been a while since I've physically seen you, but man, it's good to see you on. How you been? How you been, brother? How's life treating you? How's the wife? How's the little one? I'm praying all is well. Good, good. Yeah, it's funny because I was thinking about you after we had that conversation before, and I know one of the things that you are is in lending, man. Well, let's connect. So let's connect offsite. I would even say like if you got free time tomorrow, I got an appointment with my mom in the morning, but we should be done at like probably about 10:30, 11. But man, let's connect. I got an idea. I think we can kind of get you into some additional brokerages. And I think ultimately getting you in many brokerages where we could show value. I think a lot of those agents will at least start like sharing their deals with you. So man, let's connect for sure. Um, I was thinking about that too, literally for about 2 or 3 days. So I'm glad you came on. Um, Carrie has a question. So how did you come up with an idea for your business? So, good question. So Carrie and I, we have multiple businesses. So regarding the sports one, it was actually twofold. So one, I love sports. I love to compete. We did a personality trait once. My number one trait was competition, and I love to compete. It just, it brings me excitement and joy, and I just love the thrill of being able to go and compete. So I love that piece. I thrive in that type of environment. So I've always liked sports. I'd say I've always loved sports. So being able to be in a space where you could be in a space that you really love, that was key. Secondly, for me, wrestling when I was young, they just, I didn't really know how to do it all. I didn't know how to do it. My parents didn't know how to do it. Didn't know how to get to the next level. I wasn't a McDonald's All-American or anything like that. So, I just didn't know how to do it. And I think a lot of times when it comes to recruitment, it's hard. It's harder today with the transfer portal than ever. So being able to like, develop software that can put these athletes in position to be successful. Because I think when it comes to college recruitment, most of it is a money grab. And I think not, and I actually had this conversation with a big group early this morning on Zoom. And I said, most athletes, most high school athletes are not even in the game. They think they are, but they're not. When it comes to recruitment, they're on the bench. And you can't get recruited while you're on the bench ever. You got to get into the game. So, if you're not a top 1%, you got to find leverage that's going to help you to, get in front of the right coaches and know how to close that deal, right? So we provide software that gets you in front of those right coaches and allow you to at least have an opportunity to get recruited. That's all we can promise is an opportunity. So I love it. I enjoy it. I love that piece. And that's what got me into that space because there's a big problem that I needed to solve. So that was me. That was me. Life's good. Yes, Tim, definitely give me a call. So good. Tim, you're in lending, right? Is that correct? Hey, John, good to see you. How you been? So while Tim and John are responding, I want to give a shout out. So I always say that, anyone that asks the questions, I want to give a shout out. It's funny because, my wife is she's a realtor, been in the space for a long time. She's, helped people buy and sell a lot of homes. She's extremely, extremely good at what she does. She partners with her best friend. The two of them are an amazing fit. So I would tell you that, man, if you're thinking about buying a house or if you're thinking about selling your house, or maybe you just want to know, like, hey, if I sell my house, how much would I make net at the very end? Any of those questions at all, don't hesitate to reach out. Reach out to me. I'll definitely connect you to them. Or you can actually go on their website, carryandgrace.com, carryandgrace.com. And if you're in the real estate business, so I know I got realtors on here and lenders. and brokers that are actually watching this live, listen, if you are a faith-based realtor, broker, lender, go to their merch site. They got a merch site. It's faith-based for real estate professionals and the lending professionals. It's called carryandgracemerch.com. So go to carryandgracemerch.com. I should be wearing a shirt to represent, but man, they got some really, really cool and funny apparel stuff. So that's pretty cool. So uh speaking of the partner, looks like we got a partner that just popped on right now. Sell your place with Carrie and Grace. Yes, Grace, great to see you. Hey, pull out your head. Give me a question. What question you got for me today? And Tim, I think you're in lending. I want to make sure that I got it right, but okay. So if you're on here, the link is down there. So carryandgracemerch.com. Check it out. It's super cool. Man, they got their own store. I mean, it's great. And as a business owner, wearing stuff is just it's a great conversation starter. So I would encourage you, if you're a believer and you're in that space, go in there and grab yourself a couple items. If you're a believer and you're not in that space, grab a couple items anyways. That way you just, represent. So it's kind of cool. How do you really launch your merch biz? It's kind of cool because I do this like parallel all the time. So I get people ask me two things a lot. One, they'll be like, "Hey, coach, how do you start a merch business?" And then people ask me all the time, "Hey, how do you write a book?" Like all the time. Like, "Hey, I'm thinking about writing a book. I'm literally last Friday in our marriage class, we have a guy that's been getting close to getting his book done. So I've been helping him with that. So those two industries are a lot alike. Now maybe you're thinking, well, wait a minute. This is going to be good. Like, explain to me. Because old school, you used to have to, if you're in this space, the book space, you would go get a publisher. It would cost you a lot of money. You would never own the rights to your book. Like it was difficult. Okay. Now it's streamlined. So you can write a book, you can get all the stuff, you can publish it seamlessly on Amazon's KDP. It's just a way to go. You don't have to order anything. They store it, they handle all the charge, they handle the shipping. You don't have to like have a closet full of books. It's brilliant. So it's like the new wave. It's like the Netflix way of doing things compared to the Blockbuster Video. Now, maybe some of you are thinking, man, what is Blockbuster Video? If you don't know what Blockbuster Video is, just ask Grace. She definitely knows. But it's old school, new school. So merch is the same way. Back in the day, you'd have to go and have everything all done, and you got to buy 100 shirts, store them in your closet, and then you sell them, and it would take you forever just to break even. And truth of the matter is, you never broke even. You ended up giving this stuff away, or you got a leak and it got ruined. That's the old school way. Now you can literally get a on-demand merch store where everything's printed, payments taken care of, the shipping's done. It's all on demand. It's super easy. You have your own brand. People can buy your stuff year round, which means your branding is going out and you make money on all of the items. So it's super cool. If you if you're a business or you want to be able to have a merch store, get a hold of me. We'll definitely get you, we'll give you a little bit more info. We'll get you set up. But having a merch store is the way to go. I was just talking about the sports one earlier, sports merch stores.com. You can go and kind of check it out there as well. But it's not just for sports, it's for businesses as well. So that's how you would do a merch store. It's cool to have your own merch store. I mean, you got your own brand. A business is a brand. The branding is actually more important than a lot of the other things that you do and spend money on is the branding. So you want to develop a brand. Well, merch is a fast way for you to get your brand out there, because instead of you spending a lot of money on social media advertising, which you may have to do that, you can have people wearing your stuff like a walking billboard everywhere you go. So that's pretty cool. So that's a merch. So Carrie's got a question. So what are some of the goals you want to achieve this year? And what are you doing to get to those goals? Good question. So one of my goals this year is we want to serve 1,000 clients. on the sports side. So we want to be able to serve 1,000 business licenses. So that's a big goal. It's definitely a big goal, but we look at it. Are there 1,000 entrepreneurs out there in the sports space that need to white label our service? Yeah, there's way more than that. So I was doing a Zoom earlier this morning with a gigantic company, and we kind of went back for about 45 minutes, and they're excited. They're part of the team, and they asked us how many clients we had, which we kind of shared a bit, not who the client was, but the amount. And they said, "Well, I'm having to compete." And I remember telling them, "Listen, always don't go wide, go deep." And what I mean is, like, don't worry about how many people are doing it. Worry about going deeper than everyone else, because you can have 100 people that could do something, but how many of them are actually going to do anything? Business is no different, right? So forget about your competition, focus on you and how deep can you go. That's how you need to do it. So for me, on a business level, one of my main goals is I want to get to 1,000 clients on that space. So whether I'm talking about my sports licensing or whether we're talking about the merch licensing, we want to have 1,000 clients across the country in this space. So that's what I'm talking about. So what about you? You guys are on here right now. Give me one of your big goals for the year, and I'll kind of just shout it out to the rest. What do you do, Tim? Hey, John. John, are you still there? Man, John, I haven't talked to you in a while. How have you been? So I love seeing the questions on the blue because it's so much easier for me to read. So much. But listen, if you're watching this today, here's one thing I would just tell you. Apart from everything else that you may learn regarding business, I would tell you, like, get really good at setting goals. Like, not just business goals, but set goals, throughout. And I would tell you that when you set them, don't write them down and put them in a book where you don't see them. I would tell you to write them up and put them on a wall. Put them on a wall where you see them every single day. Like, I don't like every single day. I mean, I have stuff in I'm not kidding you. Like, where we do our podcast, I have stuff in the bathroom, and if we rent this out, people are like, come in and they're like, wow, this guy's got his stuff all over like, I can't even see myself because all his stuff's all over. That's right. Because, I want to see that every day so I can speak life into that stuff. So, uh, I want at least 40 transactions. So I love it. So Carrie and Grace, I'm assuming Grace, you're on page, 40 transactions. I mean, I would just say, hey, two things. One, who do you two have to become to be the team that's doing 40 transactions a year? So that's the first question I would ask yourself. Again, who do you have to become to be a team that does 40 transactions a year? Because you have to morph into that person, right? And then the second question I would have for you, which is usually everyone else's first question, is what do you got to do that? Now, that's not my first question. It's my second question because it always starts with you, right? So who do you got to become? So let me see. I want at least 40 transactions. Grace replying to Carrie's. She wants, oh, wait, is this it? She wants 47. She fell offline. Wait, is it 47? Grace wants 47. I mean, you guys are starting off with a bang. You guys are doing well, but I'm not kidding you. Like, think about, okay, only think of two things. That's it. I'm going to go back to it. One, who do you have to be? Like, think about this for a minute. If I went and brought you 10 realtors that sold 50 houses a year, because that's baller status now, right? 50. The average agent in the country sells two houses. Two houses. That's it. The average, right? There's only two brokerages in the country where the average agent sells over 10 houses. I won't even get into that yet. So most agents only sell 2 or 3 houses a year. So if I brought you 10 agents, and let's say I put you two in a boardroom. So I got Carrie and I got Grace in a boardroom. You guys are in the boardroom, you're waiting, you got there a little bit early because that's what people do. We want to make sure that we leave a good impression. And all of a sudden you see me through the glass, I'm walking in, I open the door, and then all of a sudden 10 realtors come in and they sit down. Now all 10 of those realtors are 50 plus transactions. So 50s, couple of them are 100. You know what I mean? Um, so my question is, think about it. They're going to be way different than the agent that sells two. They're going to have way higher standards, right? Their priorities are going to be different. The money that they spend is going to be spent in different places. Are you guys understanding what I'm tracking? Are you kind of getting, like, give me a thumbs up if you understand what I'm saying. I'm trying not to go too deep. Okay. That you like to sell 500 pieces of merch. Okay. No, that's not too small. So like it starts there. Like, who do you have to become? That's where it starts. Those people are way different than these people. Their thought process is different. Their action is way different. Their standards are different. Everything's different. Let me kind of give you a quick take on this. So, last week, I think it was on Friday, I had a Zoom with a gentleman that I have not seen in like 13 years, and he's high. He's very involved in the real estate side. He's a coach. He's does commercial lending, does like a lot of stuff. He's has a show. He's involved in a lot of the minority groups. He's just very involved, very involved. And it was good to catch up with him. So we're chatting, and it was funny because uh, we were on in Orange County. We were on a board for one of the minority trade associations. I was the VP of education, and I brought in at that time Joyce, who's no longer with us, who used to always be the number one realtor in Los Angeles County every year, number one, number one, number one, number one. She was a baller, like a baller. I mean, I think she used to, sell over 200 houses a year in Los Angeles. She's a baller. And I remember just calling her one day and I'm like, Joyce, can you come speak to, our agents that are in our group in Orange County? And she didn't like, hey, Martin, I don't know. That's a long drive. Hey, Martin, I'm busy. Hey, Martin, you're going to have to pay for it. She's like, hey, name the time and day, Martin, I will be there. And she did. And and a lot of people are asking her all these questions, and they're great questions. But the number one question is like, who do you have to be like Joyce? So that's what I would say. Like, think that first. Like, what do I need to, wake up a little bit early? Do I need to start creating different disciplines in my life? You know what I mean? I need to start looking at things through a different set of lenses. That is the ultimate piece, because once you both become that person, the stuff will follow. So just think about that. You like to sell 500 pieces of merch this year, 100%. Like, you know, th- that's like a couple pieces a day, right? Less than 3 pieces a day. And when you start selling bulk, then it's obviously a lot more than that. And ultimately, as more and more people buy it, you'll track to see how many orders, like how many units somebody buys on average. So, like, let's say the average person, purchases 3 items. And now you can break it down where you're like, hey, now if I want to sell 500 pieces, I only need like 100 and some people to be able to do that. So the beauty of merch is you can sell mass quantities because there's so many people. So you just have to ask yourself, like, how do I get my store in front of more people? And instead of thinking about individual people, I would not go that route. It's too long. I would go the route of like, how do I get my store in front of a lot of people at one time? So that's what I would do. So how do I get in front of a lot of people at one time? So in this case, it might be like, at certain events, maybe right now, if it's a real estate focus, like set up a shop at a real estate event, especially if it's a real estate event where, or if it's a real estate event that's tied to Kingdom, then that's like a jackpot. But that's the route I would go, because there's a lot more people there than there are your one-offs. You could still like do stuff online and do your one-offs, but I would do the how to get it in front of a lot of people. Like, that's how I would do it. You know what I mean? And honestly, with you guys might literally want to like be part of it. One of the local associations. Um, there it's pretty inexpensive. It used to be like $99 a year. They do a lot of events, and then they have like a national conference. I'm just saying it's something to think about, because you could be in front of like hundreds and thousands of people, pushing your merch, which is kind of cool. So that's how I would do it. I do love the goal. I do love the 500. I don't think it's too small. If you told me 50, I would probably smack your hand because that's too small. But I think 500 is definitely a good number. I mean, here's the deal. The power of the internet, the chamber's a good one. Chamber's a good one, but the real estate, like a bigger association, there's a lot more people there, a lot. And if your site right now, like you got to ask the way your site is right now, it's geared more towards real estate space, kingdom minded. Now, if you want to put other stuff in there and then open up other spaces, that's cool. But if we're talking right now today, this is the space. It's over here. Then you're going to find out right here what are the events that have the most amount of people that are over in this section. That's how I would do it. Chamber is good because you'll get to know people, but remember, if your product is in this space, then focus on this space. Who's in this space that has the most amount of people that I can get my product in front of? Real estate events. That's how I would do it, like 100%. So figure that out, and try to like connect with the groups too. Try to make it a win-win. A lot of times they just want like you to sign up. Hey, purchase a booth and you can do that or do this. But I would even go deeper and figure out, hey, how do we partner with you? Or hey, here's an idea. Hey, I'm talking to a group as an example, and they want me to set up a booth at this real estate event, right? I would even go deeper and say, hey, how do I become the preferred apparel provider for your organization? Well, what does that mean? Well, we can even add a whole nother line. You know what I mean? And maybe a percentage goes back to you. Now they're going to listen. They're going to be like, well, wait, what? I didn't hear anything you said before, but now like my ears perked up, right? I'm just saying now you're going a little deeper. And now if you're able to work something out with the group, now they'll be your advocate for you, right? And they'll be pushing it. So imagine if you got like 12 of those people that are pushing it to their people constantly for you. Now that number that Grace gave is going to be way too small, because now 500 you could do that in a month. Does that make sense? That's a route that I would go. I would always try to go deeper. Like don't stop where don't. A lot of times we get in a habit of stopping where everyone else stops. You know what I mean? Like, okay, everyone stops right here, so I'm going to stop right here. No, just because they stop here, keep going. You know what I mean? Like they stop at like, okay, I'm going to rent a booth. It's $100. Okay, good. No, that's our starting point. Hey, what can we do next? Okay, well, let's see if we can like create some synergy and partner with them. So that's how I would do it. Hey, you're welcome. Hope you guys had an amazing anniversary over the weekend. Can't wait to hear all about it. Let me make sure, see if we have anything else on here. It's 5:29. We are going to come close to wrapping it up. I want to make sure I didn't miss anyone. Hey, listen, it's great to be on here and it's great to answer the questions. 100%. I enjoy doing it. I do. So if you guys have any business questions at all, or if you have a business question that maybe you just, you're like, I don't really want to, ask, don't hesitate, reach out, send me a DM, message me. I love to be able to connect with you. Maybe you're thinking, hey, I'd really like to start a business, but I really don't know what to do. Yeah, we'll help you do it. We'll give you some pointers and we'll point you in the right direction and show you how to do it. Remember, business is just solving a problem. That's all it is. So you find a problem in a specific space, you solve the problem, you turn it into a business. So that's what it is, and that's what it's all about. Anyways, I hope you guys have an amazing evening. If you need to learn more, if you have questions, go to our website, www.meetcoachmartin.com, meetcoachmartin.com. If you're looking for a mentor, you're looking for a coach, man, I know a good one. Go to meetcoachmartin.com. You can learn a little bit more. We'd love to be able to help you. But here's the deal, man, set big goals. Set big goals this year, the biggest you've ever seen. And I don't care if you set goals every year and you just fall on your face and that's deterring you from doing it. Who cares? Set big goals. If you need to get help, get help. If you need to get some mentorship, go to my site. Love to be able to help you. But hopefully you guys have an amazing evening. I look forward to talking to you guys tomorrow.